Ladies, gentlemen, and everything in between, I have returned once more to sate your ravenous desire for a horror games tier list this October. Let's not waste any time. Here's a quick reminder of the rules. Number 1, the game's gotta be on Steam. Number 2, I'm not gonna do any 2 games in the same series. And number 3, I'm trying to keep the games unique. But most important of all, you need to know that each game's fun and/or playability will be ranked via pros and cons, whereas the tier list itself is solely used to rank the spookiness and scariness levels. First up this time is Pathologic, developed by Ice Pick Lodge and released on June 9th, 2005. It's currently $13.
Natural reveal themselves more often than intelligent and reasonable men would prefer them to. Chimeras, they conceal themselves beneath us, above us, and among us.
Damn, she's got a whole band in that there clarinet. These kids bury their oddly other kid-shaped doll. And it's over. Yeah, I guess not. Talk about an intro sequence. Good load times.
So, it's all about...
Some of the worst screen tearing I've ever seen.
Where have you come from?
It's trickery.
But it's on. VSync is on. Maybe a restart will fix things.
Traces of the supernatural.
Oh god, not again.
So,
Okay.
it's all about trickery to you?
Means you're already inside of him. This
Looks to be some manner of character select, but I can't select one and the keyboard isn't doing anything. Perhaps I'll go with the old standby and click the mouse once. Haha. At this point, my computer was completely black-screened and putting out no more audio. Not to worry, it's nothing a quick game restart can't
The
fix.
circumstances of these tragic events remain.
The torment is ceaseless.
So, it's all about...
I figured it might not have worked last time because I skipped this scene, so this time I sat through it. These 3 character models are animated in super slow motion, but it sounds like they just made the poor voice actors try to emulate that in real time.
must be one of the ventricles, right here.
What a silly place. It's stuffed. So it's not real for now? I don't think it has started yet.
It makes this opening scene feel like it's just dragging on to no end.
I suggest we be on our way. The sooner the better.
Off we go then?
Let's go. The clock is ticking.
Yep, I can see you guys really have a sense of urgency. The age-old dilemma. Haruspecs or bachelor?
Daniil Dankovsky, a Bachelor of Medicine, was brought here by circumstances most unfortunate.
Weren't we all?
Dankovsky's
Oh, oops, sorry.
He gets to know a girl called Eva Yan and stays at her place till dawn.
So he got a letter about immortality, went to a town, and then went to town. Oh, my bad, sorry. Hold on. Even at 700% speed, this takes too long. Nothing's even happening. It's just a bunch of 20-second shots of archaic 3D models walking or looking around. Finally, we're in. I was immediately surprised by the visual quality of Pathologic. The cell looks pretty sharp for 2005. Damn. As it turns out, this game wasn't designed for multi-monitor setups. It doesn't restrict your mouse to the game window while you're playing, and if you click while the mouse is outside the main window, it just crashes everything. I managed to fix the issue, and you know what that means. Gah.
I had a feeling you would come.
Now that it works, we can get into the meat of the gameplay. Incredibly long, static, unvoiced dialogue boxes. I know the studio that made this is Russian, so I'll give credit where credit is due. In spite of the occasionally strange writing structure and plethora of sentences that nobody would ever say in real life, the dialogue is well written, and with proper spelling and grammar. This is especially good because I wasn't joking earlier. This entire game is static dialogue boxes. Well, okay, that's not quite fair. In between the riveting conversations, you get to explore a world of technical interactivity. As in, yeah, I can technically interact with it. It just won't interact back. The open world is pretty expansive, which couples nicely with the molasses-like movement speed. Oops, wrong house. Oh boy, I sure hope that journey was worth it.
Did you see anything weird on your way here?
Yay, it's more talking. Now I don't just dislike any game that involves a lot of reading. Morrowind, for example, is one of my favorites of all time, and every character in that game will give you 10 paragraphs if you ask about the weather. The difference is, Morrowind is a fun game with a propensity for dialogue. Pathologic is a whole lot of dialogue with the skin of an RPG loosely stretched across it to try and hold it together.
So
Why not just make this a visual novel, or a text adventure? It would be quicker and cheaper to produce, and deliver the story in a much more digestible form. This game is like a Call of Duty title where you have to sit through a 40-minute helicopter ride before and after every match. It's like the Fellowship of the Ring, if there were 200 extra chapters dedicated to quietly and uneventfully walking through the countryside and chatting with passersby. You know, there's a reason the slow, monotonous parts of the story aren't ever included. I'm no expert, but it could be because they're slow and monotonous. I had a glimmer of hope when I found this dead body that had a gun on it. Thankfully, it came in handy. Wait, could it be? An enemy? An element of conflict and challenge? Yeah, I knew it was too good to be true. I did manage to have some fun lemon farming. Dumpster diving. And spending some time with the local youth. But 90% of my time was spent slowly walking in absolute silence with fence mazes that served to considerably extend silent walking time. Now that's what I call a video game. And on the 30 years of horror tier list, this gets the first S so far. Not because the game itself scares you, but because its painfully slow nature fills you with such an existential sense of dread when you realize you're wasting precious minutes you'll never get back. And that is truly scary. I know this is kind of an aside, but this game has incredibly positive reviews. I checked, and I just wanted to make note of the fact that almost everyone who has reviewed Pathologic on Steam acts like they're in some kind of abusive relationship with the game. Pathologic is a very unique game. I wouldn't call it fun. Yeah, I'd recommend it. I wanted to love this game. Yeah, you should play it. And this person basically just makes every negative point I talked about, and more. So what do they rate the game? 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10? Middle of the road? Good lord, what'll it take for you people to admit a game sucks? Anyway. For number 2, we've got Barrow Hill, Curse of the Ancient Circle, made by Shadow Tor, and released on April 16th, 2006. Today, it goes for $8. My computer recorded the game in 4:3, which it's supposed to be, I guess, but on my screen it looked like this. And I'm going to keep it like this, so you can experience the game exactly like I did. The local radio DJ explains that it's the night of the autumn equinox.
No, it's the autumn equinox. An important date in the pagan calendar.
Then, the car you've actually been in this whole time suddenly dies.
4 in a row for you, coming up, right here on
You somehow take 4 steps while you're still in the car. And get out. Just like that, we're into the game. I see. This is a classical point-and-click adventure game with a spooky twist. There are plenty of dark forest paths and hidden chambers to click around in. Unfortunately, the game also takes place in Cornwall, England, a place called Sore Point to be exact. Yeah, I feel like this one's going to give me a sore point. You can find many objects of intrigue in your travels, like an empty bottle of hair tonic, marine enhanced, next to an empty, running Mercedes. Plus, this has the most interactive bathrooms I've ever seen in a game. You can stare into the open stall through the mirror, watch water drip into the sink, and even turn on the fan. Eventually you stumble into this visitor center, which tells you all about this area and its connection to mystical large stones. Barrow Hill, that's where I am. The visitor center also includes this radical Barrow Hill jigsaw puzzle. I thought completing it would do something to progress the game, but nope, it's just a jigsaw puzzle. As with most point-and-clicks, this game has you find and combine various items as you play, like lighting this lantern to see in dark areas by using the matches you found earlier. Aha, at long last. Light. And as a nice bonus, they got some top-tier vocal talent for the one character I encountered.
Who's that? Oh, it's you. Don't you know what's out there? I hear it. The voices in my head. They echo on and on and on and on and on. Timeless, fearless, faceless. It's heavy with sleep after feeding. It'll wake soon. It'll come for you. I hope you're next. Then maybe it'll leave me alone. Maybe it was you all along. Murderer, murderer. They were just arriving. They'd just driven in and it caught them, burnt them, cut them down as they ran. It happened in seconds. It couldn't have been real. I must have been dreaming. Get away from me!
And I think he's my favorite character so far.
Leave me alone. Go away.
This game also features some of the most spine-chilling horror I've ever seen. Be warned, this next scene is not for the faint of heart. Oh no. What could be lurking in this darkness? It's just a big-ass rock. That's right, the main antagonists of this game are, in fact, large sentient boulders. So overall, this title's not for everyone, but if you like point-and-click games, and or just want an interesting experience with some proper October spookiness, I'd recommend it. However, in spite of the big rock jump scare which nearly gave me a heart attack, this is going to land comfortably within the C tier on the 30 Years of Horror tier list. Next on the list is Legendary, developed by Spork, or Spark Unlimited, and released on October 24th, 2008. It'll run you $6, or 71 cents if you're quick. Blech. Gamecock? Gamecock? You can't make this stuff up. Nice. Unreal. Alright. We got the AMBX. That's good. Oh, sweet. Digitally mastered. Uh-oh. Yeah, sure, GameSpy, yeah. What? Okay, we're in.
Pandora's box, according to ancient myth, was a gift from the gods.
Sweet.
That was the myth. The truth, unfortunately, was far worse. The real Pandora's box was a device of incredible power. LeFay initiated a plan for our organization, the Black Order, to recover Pandora's box before the Council could react, hiring an intermediary that wasn't under their surveillance. Charles Deckard was a thief, a career criminal who sold his expertise to the highest bidder.
You play as good old Chuck Deckard, a man with renownedly expert thieving skills. God, why'd they make him look so much like a weird baby in this scene? No. Unfortunately, it seems our buddy Dick Kickard just looks like that. Could this perhaps be the giant golden box I was told to find? Hand. This has got to be the worst thief of all time. He just sprayed his own blood all over the crime scene, not to mention all the fingerprints. Damn you, left hand. It's all your fault. Not 10 seconds into the gameplay, and I see this. Pandora's box has branded your left hand with the signet. You now have the ability to absorb animus energy. All I know now is that the Black Order hired me to fill my signet with animus energy. You can't just keep throwing quirky lore terms at me without actually explaining what anything means. Oh, it means I can heal. Okay. Seriously? Right now? Should checking my email really be my main priority here? What? Get out of the museum? No. Really? It's not like you're actively stopping me from doing that. To tell me to do that, I mean, that would be crazy. Oh man, these guys are really running for their lives. Just look at that desperation. My favorite part of this game so far is standing still and slowly absorbing this energy that I need. It really works great with a fast-paced action game like this. That's just unfortunate. Huh? Never should have opened that box. Oh, hey, human shield.
My God, Deckard! What does that mean?
Worth a shot. Time for some expert thievery. Yes, surely shorting out an electronic lock would open the door and not just cause it to lock indefinitely. Okay, now you're just hamming it up. Alright, you want me back at the end with that jump. Oh, hold on. Got some new emails. The mythological griffin was a noble creature with the body of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle. As far as actual gameplay goes, this one kind of confuses me. It feels like they wanted to make it feel super fast-paced with the high movement speed and massive sprinting leap you can do, but every single item and interactable requires you to just stand still for a really long time. They've given me crates full of ammo, but I haven't had a single thing to shoot at yet. Until finally, I found it. An enemy. Alright, so it's some kind of lava lizard. Not a bad design. Oh hey, another one. Oh hey, another one. Oh hey, another one. Uh-oh. There's something behind that door, and it sounds a whole lot meaner than the lava lizard. Oh no, it's a really veiny, hairless werewolf. Oh hey look, another one. Ooh, what's the gimmick for these little guys? Standing still and waiting to be able to shoot them? Fun. This here spooky crypt level was my final straw. I'd put hours into the game, using a plethora of weapons and strategies against, the same 4 enemies over and over again, being forced to entertain the game's fetish for quietly standing still when I finally got a glimmer of hope. Some new creatures afoot, one that even the werewolves are scripted to fear. Ooh, what's it gonna be? Wow, the same werewolf, but with some hair. Is it at least stronger? Nope. This game is honestly so bad it's good. It's got some cool ideas, but the execution on everything is just so comically terrible that this quote-unquote horror shooter had me laughing harder than I have at any game for quite some time now. And on the 30 years of horror tier list, it's getting a D. I can tell they tried, just not hard enough. Second to last on the list is Singularity, developed by Raven and released June 25th, 2010. Nowadays it's $30, good lord. Now, I've been replaying Snake Eater recently, and I think that game had a big influence on the way the story in this is presented.
1945, the Soviet Union continues to expand in both military might and political influence.
Soviet Russia holds a commanding position in the future destiny of the world.
But it was the United States that held the secret to atomic power.
Colonel, you're telling me we rely on our nuclear superiority?
All over the world.
This superiority would be short-lived, however.
Fuck.
Stalin was already at work on a plan of his own.
Intel says this bird's been abandoned for 50...
Sorry, could you speak up a little bit? I can't hear you too well over the COD music.
Spartan team, maintain present speed and heading. Copy that, Titan 1.
You see that?
What, the giant hand and sickle? Nah, I missed it.
2-1, Spartan 2-1, we're reading a radiation spike on your vector.
Shit, it's an EMP!
Aw, man, he was my favorite. I also don't know why my screen was cut in half that whole time, but it mostly stops with that cutscene. Unfortunately, this is one of those games where just about every room has a random page full of lore dump. Makes you wonder who left this obviously confidential letter out on the counter by the visitor center. Also, this facility shut down decades ago. You're telling me this one loose sheet of paper sat outside for years on end, next to the ocean, and only ended up lightly torn? I need me some of that Russian paper. You get to explore this abandoned research facility and learn about exactly what it was they were researching. I don't want to give too much away, but it's immediately clear that something supernatural is going on.
Help! Help! For the love of God, please! Let me out!
And soon you end up phasing between timelines like nobody's business. The horror ambience as you move throughout the island is pretty effective, and there were some scares I didn't expect. This is getting much closer to the standards of horror shooters today. Even the basic enemies are tough enough that they don't have to throw 60 of them at you as random fodder, like in Legendary. Instead, just coming across 2 of them was pretty intense. At least, that's how it is at first. Tragically, this game is a victim of what I like to call the American solution. You see, it's scary until they hand you 65 automatic weapons and literally turn the game into Call of Duty. Where are the monsters? What happened to all that tension you were building? I know it's 2010, but do we really need another generic action shooter? And then they give you that gravity gun from Half-Life? Yeah, I don't know, they really just threw in a little bit of everything. I would still call this a good game. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. It just seems like it had the potential to be a groundbreakingly amazing game if they just picked the genre and stuck with it. And on the old reliable 30 years of horror tier list, this will land in B. The intro is almost S tier, but the codification brings it way down. Finally, we have Knock Knock. I'm usually one for second chances, so this game was made by Ice Pick Lodge, the same folk that made Pathologic. Came out October 4th, 2013, and it's a clean $10. It starts with a sort of disclaimer. What you see before you is not exactly what one would call a game. Well, that's a good start. I really like the design of the main character. He plays this spiky-headed individual woken in the middle of the night by strange sounds. I found that the style of dialogue in this game, though a bit silly, kind of helps to solidify the notion that nothing is real and you have no idea what's actually happening. Switch level is effectively a different night, and you beat most of them by lasting until 6 AM. The gameplay is composed entirely of walking around, turning on lights, and opening doors. In spite of this, Knock Knock is one of my favorite games on the tier list so far. It's able to do quite a lot with so little, and can prove absolutely terrifying at times, especially in the beginning when you don't quite understand the game yet. Just take this next scene for example.
Is there anybody home? Anyone at all?
I had never heard this voice before, so I decided to hide behind the bed. Big mistake.
And now, your turn.
Are you afraid?
There's a mechanic where you have to stand in a room with your eyes closed to let them adjust, so that you can see hidden items and furniture. Of course, this can also become quite hazardous. I don't even know what got me there. This is another one where I don't want to dive too deep into everything you see, just in case you want to experience this for yourself. So I'll just say I rate it quite highly. And I've honestly never seen another game like this, with the randomly generated house each time you wake up, having to fix the lights and such. As for the 30 years of horror tier list, this one gets a comfortable A. Well, that's all I got for you today. As always, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, see ya.